Okay, so now welcome to the next lecture. In this, I will talk about two functions, strip and replace. So as you see that we have some space, leading and trail space in this string. So what if you have to remove these, the strings, right? So you can simply go and use the function called strip. Okay, so this will remove all the space. It's very simple, right? Let me just run this. Let's see that. Okay, see, and this is strings 5.0 module. Please remember that. So you see that we don't have a space here, right? I can click here and I can show you. See this. In fact, we can also calculate the number of characters. So we can use the length function, right? So length will tell you that how many characters do we have here. Of course, a space, one space means one character. So if I run this, you should see here 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then 6 and 7, and then this middle space. Remember, this function will not remove the middle spaces. For example, if I keep the space like this, still you will get the same answer, which is called, I mean, when you're going to run this, you'll get that 13, because these all the spaces will be counted. Strip is not going to actually remove these spaces. Please remember, it will remove only those spaces which are coming before the string and after the string. Okay, very important point. Okay, all right. So now after this, guys, there is another thing which we can do. Suppose you want to replace something. Okay, let me remove these spaces now. Suppose, and I'm just going to write everything in the small letters. Okay, see, what if you want to, let's say, replace uh, let's say any letter. Okay, you want to replace G. You want to replace G with, let's say, X. So how I can do that? So in that case, we can use uh, this the replace function also, the replace method also. So you see, when you your cursor is blinking here, so when you go out, you can't see the parameters. But when you come over here, when you again come back here and try to go and hover here on this replace, you see that you can see the documentation. So sometimes if you forget the parameters, you can take the help of this. So see, in this replace, there is the first parameter is basically what we are going to actually uh, the replace, right? So here you can write whatever you want to replace, and then the new string, again, that is going to be string, that the new character which you want to write. So let's say I want to replace, as I said, we want to replace the G, and we want to replace this with, let's say, X. Okay, and we want to print this value now. Okay, so how you're going to see the results now? Let's go and check that. So this all control backslash. Okay, so let me run this and let's see that. You see that X is replaced. Okay, that's a replace method. Now what happens if, let's say, I replace not G, but let's say I replace O, small o. Obviously Python is a case sensitive language. So if I run this, let's go and check that. Look at this, wherever you have O, that is going to be replaced. Okay, so this is pretty simple, I think, straightforward. This is how you can actually go and replace the things. Now the next thing which you may like to do is that, what if I want to replace, let's say, only the first O, right? So please, when you see this documentation, when you hover here on replace, you see there is a count parameter also, the count. So you can always say that how many actually O's you want to replace. Let's say I say that I want to replace only uh, the one O. So if I run this now, we should see only the first O is replaced. See here, these O's are still there. If you say that I want to replace two O's, so first two O's should be replaced with X now. Look at this, right? And this is still there. Okay, so again, I mean, you can write here 3 also. But if I have to replace everything, then I will simply go and just run this, and by default, because this is the optional parameters, you will find here everything replaced. Just for information, you can, if you write here -1 is the by default value, which means you don't have to write it, it will replace everything. Okay, makes sense, right? So -1, if -1 is the default value for count parameter, so no need to write if you want to replace everything, just for information. Okay, so anyways, let's just copy this. Now what happens if I want to replace What happens if I want to replace, let's say, good with bad? Okay, so it's not a single character. There are a bunch of characters I want to replace. Well, again, you can do the same thing. So what you will do, so let's go and delete this. So here I'm not going to use this parameter now. Okay, see, I can simply go and write here good. And let's say I want to replace that with bad. Okay, so we can go and replace a single character also and more than one character also, a word also. Okay, that's basically the point. Look at this, it is replaced. Okay, so let's meet in the next lecture now.